Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Strand Tennis Center podcast, filled with tips, advice, tennis, not tennis, just life advice too, whatever you need. Like it on YouTube, share it on the podcast as well. Thank you. Everybody, welcome to the Strand Tennis Center podcast. Welcome. I am Steve Capo. I am your host for another exciting tidbit of information. We did 2 weeks of a decision series. Hopefully you're making your decisions better, Santi. Speaking of decisions, you have 3 days off. And what was your decision on those 3 days for Thursday, Friday?
Still a little indecisive. I'm still looking at some flights right now.
Oh, you are looking at flights? I thought you said you were going down to Baltimore.
Maybe. That, or I might visit my parents in Rhode Island.
Nice.
Or go to Vermont.
What's the flight option?
L.A. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I can
probably
swing
better.
it.
Maybe you were thinking about taking 6 weeks off.
Yeah.
This is probably better. You take a quick flight to L.A., enjoy some trips. You don't lose a bunch of money. You know, I mean, you'll spend money, but you know what I'm trying to say? You're working still.
Yeah.
I find that it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Right.
80-20 principle, right? You make a 20% decision, and it will solve 80% of the problems. Like we went, and I haven't been doing, and I do it myself. I have a problem too. Like, I was like, well, if I'm going to go away, I've got to go away. I really need to spend time. And then me and Maria have been going down the beach on a Saturday.
Nice.
It's been great. You just drive down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use your gift certificate, by the way. I really appreciate it.
That's so funny because I was wondering if ever you remember you still have it.
I have it. No, I have it. It's right on my board.
Oh, okay.
No, I really think of you every time.
It's a vegan, vegetarian restaurant.
In Asbury Park, right?
Yeah, and you guys are vegetarians or whatever. Yeah.
We are going to go.
Nice.
We've just been...
it's in Belmar.
Belmar. We've been to went to Lavalette, went to Asbury Park.
Yeah.
Different places. We will definitely go. But the value of just getting away for an hour, driving for an hour, getting away for 4 or 5 hours, just the beach itself, it's so great. It's a little cooler, a little breezier, just a different vibe.
Yeah.
And you get so wrapped up in saying, oh, I'll just stay home. I'll relax at home. It's different. It really is. So those things, you really enjoy the value of just taking small little micro retirement vacations. And those are just micro things, which are really key. I always thought, well, I want to go away for a month. I want to learn a culture. It's really involved, and you really have to have your ducks in a row, and I haven't been able to do it yet.
Yeah.
Tim Ferriss, Mr. 4-Hour Work Week and all that, he was able to do that, right? We go to Argentina and do all those things. He's good for them. Sometimes I just can't seem to shake that out. But, yeah, those little things.
Well, you always said you're addicted to working.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know that I
when
like
you're working,
it.
when you're not working, you're working. Your
so
mind
when I
is
wake
working.
when I wake up this morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you.
That's it. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, I'm always working. But when I woke up this morning, right, I, again, dumped 100 pounds of ice in the lunch and got frozen.
Okay.
But then I was so excited to look at the calendar. It's so fucked up. I'm so excited to look at the schedule and see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle. It's very exciting. So I guess that's also a PSA for you. Got to like what you do, because some people look at their calendar and be like, I hate this. I never want to look at it again. Right. You got to enjoy it. But the books that I was talking about, the other one, Influence by Robert Kalandi or whatever, this book is great. You should read it. Can they see it? I just want to make sure I got the right angle. Okay, good. So this book you can pick up if you just want to know how to make decisions, which is huge. And this one is great. David Clark has written a lot of these books about Munger and Buffett. The Tao of Charlie Munger is great. It's just it's a very quick read. It's just his thoughts on particular things. It's a quote, and they explain the quote. Something simple like overconfidence, fast money, out of control, like some super things is fast money. Like trying to get things quickly is a bad move. You don't want to try to get the fast buck. You have to build. And they were talking on a recent podcast that if you just saved, I think this is the Rich Habits podcast, which is great, with Robert Croak. If you just started with your kid who was born, and you put $100 a month into a 529, the college fund, okay. or not even the 529, even into, say, a Roth IRA, and you put $100 in a month.
Yeah.
By the time that person is 18, and you don't have to refund it, I think there's $21,000 in there. And if that person doesn't touch that until they're 55, it becomes $1 million. That's it.
Yeah.
$100 a month for 18 years. Then you don't even put any more money in, and it becomes $1 million. So that's what patience is. That's what's taking your time. That's what's saying, all right, I am not going to try to rush into this. And that's why playing tennis, again, we'll try to equate everything back in this program to tennis because that's what we're here for. We're here to see people improve. We're here to see them get better. But it doesn't happen overnight. There's no fast, quick fix, no fast money for it. It's very debilitating. It's very difficult. The sport is not easy, and you shouldn't expect easy things. You should lower your expectations a little bit and realize really what you want, right? So, I mean, I'm sure everybody always says they want to make as much money as they can, but you're going to have to do that the right way. You're going to have to do that the solid way. And if you don't have the proper building blocks, just like playing tennis, working on your forehand, working on your fundamentals, if you don't have the fundamentals, you won't be able to play this game. Strategies out the window, all those things out the window if you do not have the proper fundamentals. So if you're working on your game, spend, again, 20 minutes, 30 minutes on that forehand. Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about that minimum effective dose. Work on 20 to 30 minutes on that return, 20 to 30 minutes on that serve. Get those three things honed. If you can get a solid serve, a solid return, and a solid forehand, you're going to beat a lot of people. But you have to be patient. Time, it doesn't happen quickly. I mean, you lose a lot of matches. I've lost many. Santi, I'm sure you've lost many. But you just keep going and you don't stop. That's one of them is great with fast money. Circle of competence, which is great for everybody to know. This is number 2. I'll just go through a couple of them. Understand what you're good at and what you're not. You know, this is his quote. Knowing what you don't know is more useful than being brilliant. Think of that. So knowing what you don't know is more useful than being brilliant.
Okay.
I mean, that is unbelievably profound to me because people that are brilliant think they know everything, and then they get caught, right? You have to realize what you don't know. I mean, we're all struggling, if we're humble, to try to figure out, you know, what we need to do or whatever. But you have to really understand what you don't know.
Yep.
Seek advice to help you with that information.
Yep.
No matter how smart you think you are. Have you ever been caught in a situation, something like that, where you just think you knew and you got floored on your ass and said, boy, I thought I knew everything about this and I just didn't know?
Probably, yeah. But nothing comes to mind right now. But you have to, like, stay humble and, like, there's a lot of people that know more things than you about certain things. You might have watched a YouTube video or read up on it, but you don't really know it until the person, you know, for example, is like scuba diving, something like that. I took scuba diving classes. You know, you think you might know what's going on. When you get in the water, you're freaking out. You know, you have to get used to the craziness of it and trust the person that's teaching you, or trust learning slowly and taking your time one step at a time.
So my next follow-up question would be then, what are you confident that you don't know?
What am I confident
like,
that
what
I
are you
don't
confident
know?
that you don't know and you'd like to know more about it? Are you like, boy, I don't know anything about this and I'm going to learn?
I would say I'm curious about what's it called? Like coding, stuff like that.
Coding?
I thought I feel like it's kind of useful to know. Okay. Just to know for shits and giggles. I don't think I would really go out to try to get a computer science type job or programming job. But I feel like that's something that a lot of kids now, even in school, we learned to type. That's what we did. But now kids in school, they're learning to code.
Correct.
Just for like basic coding. So they already know how to type when they're probably 3 or 4. But when I grew up, we had a class, you go to computer class, you learn how to type. That's it. You don't learn how to do anything else. And then now they're just doing way more. Yeah. You know, so it's a different world.
Do you know Joe Romero? I think it's Joe Romero, John Romero.
No.
Created Doom. You know the game Doom?
Oh, okay.
He learned how to code. I think he got a visit. He was in school and he learned how to code through a book or something like that. And at 12 years old,
Yeah.
or whatever age it was, his teacher said, come to this base, whatever, this military base, because
Yeah.
it was just in the 80s, and they
Okay.
needed a coder.
Right.
So he walked into this military base and started coding for the military
Oh, that's
because
crazy.
no one knew how to code in the 80s. And he
Right.
just learned from a magazine, a book, and anywhere he was on a computer he could get access to, he just practiced coding.
Yeah.
It is huge of value.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Avoid being an idiot. People are trying to be smart. All I'm trying to do is not be an idiot, but it's harder than most people think.
Okay.
Very true, right? It's very similar to circle of competence, right? Just circle of competence, excuse me. Yeah, I just want to stay in my lane. Don't look stupid, right? It's very hard not to because people pontificate. They think they act. They think they know everything, and they don't. Do a few more. Walking away. Life in part is like a poker game, wherein you have to learn to quit sometimes when holding a much-loved hand. You must learn to handle mistakes and new facts that change the odds. So even if you have a good hand sometimes, it's not good enough, and you'll have to learn to put it away, right? So
Yeah.
as much love hand, you must learn to handle mistakes and new facts that change the odds. It's very similar to thinking you know something and you don't know it, and then something changes and you have to deal with the mistakes. Easy shooting. My idea of shooting a fish in a barrel is draining the barrel first. Pretty interesting.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
saying shooting fish in a barrel? It's like, I don't even want to do that. Just drain the barrel. Like,
Yeah.
they believe in things that are so easy. In other words, basically you work.
So is it like work smarter, not harder?
It's not
type
even
of-
that.
No?
It's not even
No.
work smarter. You just work. No, you work. Well, you've got to read the right things and study the right things, but you work, you study, you work harder, whether you run a business, you play tennis, and then you have an opportunity to win a match, and you're playing so well that it's like shooting fish in a barrel or draining the barrel. Like they
Okay.
create such an opportunity because they've worked so hard, but you have to be patient enough to work that hard to get the opportunity where it's such a no-brainer. But
Right.
they will not take a risk unless that is a no-brainer.
Right.
And that's the thing. You have to wait until the barrel is empty of water. They're saying a fish with a barrel full of water is still too much of a risk.
Okay.
And you can work hard enough to find that situation where it's completely empty. So if you work hard enough, play hard enough, train hard enough, you should be in a situation where that barrel's empty and you should be able to win. Not that easily, but you've created the tools where that barrel is empty. Okay?
Okay.
We'll just do a couple more. Revelation. Once we've gotten over the hurdle of recognizing that a thing can be a bargain based on quantitative measures, that would have horrified Graham. We started thinking about better businesses. So this is something specific. So Benjamin Graham was their hero. He was an investor early on, in the early 1900s.
Okay.
But he thought about buying businesses decent businesses that were super affordable. They were like, let's buy great businesses that are decently priced. So that's just a specific thing. So if you find an opportunity, you don't want to find a piece of crap opportunity that's cheap because
Right.
what you get what you paid for, right? You want something that is great that's underpriced.
Okay.
So if you get something great that's underpriced, it's eventually going to rise again, right? So
Right.
you should, it's like, again, it's playing a tournament, playing in a match. Somebody used to be a great player. They're injured. They're coming back. I'm going to probably bet on them because
The injured player?
they're underpriced.
Oh, you think?
No, they're back. They're
Oh,
back
right,
after
right,
an
right.
injury. I'm going to bet on the underpriced player that used to be a winner.
Oh, okay.
They're underpriced, but they have winning capabilities. So things like that. Just a couple more because it's just so great. Let's see. Sitting on your ass. No, that's. I want something. Some of these are all specific to business. Let's see. Let's go. Let's cash is key. This is all interesting stuff. Going to extremes. Going to extremes. In business, we often find that the winning system goes almost ridiculously far in maximizing or minimizing one of our few variables, like the discount warehouses of Costco. That's too specific. Cost. Let me find one real good one for you. Positive reinforcement. All human beings work better when they get what psychologists call reinforcement. If you can get constant rewards, even if you're Warren Buffett, you'll respond. Learn from this and find out how to prosper by reinforcing the people who are close to you. What does that mean?
Positive reinforcement. I mean, just give compliments.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
but you also,
say
again,
truthful compliments.
very similar to the influence book.
Yeah.
When he said, if I like people and say good things, they're going to like
They're
it.
gonna like it
But
back.
if
Yeah.
I tell them you're great at this, you're going to live up to that.
Right.
So if I keep on reinforcing, hey, you know what? You're great at teaching this class, Santi.
Yeah.
It's going to reinforce your greatness in that.
Right.
That positive reinforcement is going to create a feedback loop to say, oh, I'm great at this, so I'm going to work harder at it because I'm getting a reward for it, so I'm going to
Right.
work harder at it.
Right.
So you notice what people are good at. Like on the tennis court, it's the same thing. If I'm teaching a student and they don't even know what they're really good at, it's my job to say, listen, this inside-out forehand you're hitting, this is the key for you. You're
Right.
great at this. Keep doing it. They're going to notice it, keep working on it, and it'll be a great positive feedback loop for them. So you
Okay.
need to reinforce, even if those people don't see it, what somebody is great at. If you can reinforce what they're good at, they're going to live up to those expectations because they're going to like you for that.
Right.
So again, like I told you, we recently did a program outside. And what did I text you about that program?
We're doing another one, and they're happy.
So
They're good.
something,
They're happy.
man,
They're good.
I was super excited. I
They're
think you
very
should be
good.
excited. So we run this program. They want to hire us for another full year
Yeah.
and the year after. And I sent you a text, and
Oh.
I said, you've got so many great compliments. They love the program. So that is a super, like some people, whether you're a coach or whether you're or a boss or whatever, they only mention the negative thing. They only say, hey, you showed up late.
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't do this.
Yeah.
When I get a positive piece of feedback, I send it right to you because that's more valuable than the negative feedback. A lot of times the negative feedback I filter and I don't give it as much because it just creates, it doesn't make you feel good. There's no reason for that. So if I'm on the tennis court and somebody's not doing something well, I really don't want to shit all over them. I want to tell
Right.
them you should try this choice and this is what you should probably do. It all should be taught in the positive, and that's the big key. You want to teach and reinforce with positive reinforcement. I want to say, hey, you should try a different choice here. Instead of trying to hit this slice backhand while you're moving out wide, why don't you try to lob this ball? Instead of saying that was a stupid choice, silly, you're an idiot. There's no answers there. There's no answers in those things. Answers are made in solutions. Again, I always said if we walked into a room together, all five of us, we discussed the program or we discussed business and mentioned all the shit things that are going on and left. There's no answers there. You always want to find answers. So that's what positive reinforcement is. It's an answer to what you're doing. So you did this work outside, and I just gave you the answer for what you're doing. Doesn't it make you feel like, oh, I'm doing the right thing?
Yeah. But when I look at it, I think that I could do even better.
Well, that's great.
Only because
He hit the camera with the ball, by the way. That's why.
he did?
Yeah, it rolled
I
over.
heard something. That's why I was like, what is that noise? So I know it could be better only because it's hard to teach a giant class with just one pro. And they did tell me in the past they only had one court, only 4 people, but then they opened it up more because we're doing it. So I would like to find an easier way to do drills and stuff like that. And be able to walk around and have, but the hard part is if they can't function already, then it's hard to tell them to do certain drills. But I would like to get them to do more drills. We do about half and half, so we do about half drills, half playing.
So that's a perfect conversation we can have tactically and say, okay, what's the best solution? Do we have a second pro?
The easiest solution is to have a second pro, right? But the thing is, it just depends if we have enough people.
Well, you talk about everything. People, cost, whatever. But if you find yourself, and that's why you always want to do things with your brain and your mind and say, listen, I don't want to add things to this because that's just sometimes a form of laziness, right? Why don't I find a best way to do this
and
make it even better by myself?
Yeah.
And then you create more value and you become more valuable and you notice the boss says, oh, you're more valuable, you're doing this on your own. Like you always negotiate with me when you do things on your own. I'm just kidding. But that's a perfect tactical conversation. You got positive reinforcement, you won't even want to do it better, and that's a great way to look at it.
Right.
Super. So, but I hope that you would feel good that I sent you that and said, hey, they want to come back again. They want to do the whole program again with you for a whole other year because they're doing, there's great feedback from them, great responses, great reviews.
Right.
Does that make you feel good, son?
Yeah.
I'm trying
really
to
nice
get
people,
Santi to
so
get
yeah.
excited. I could give Santi $10 million to be like,
Oh,
all right, good.
well,
I don't know whether I'll go to Florida or California or Bora Bora. Who knows?
That's
So
funny.
that's really the gist of today. I just wanted to go over this book. The Tao of Charlie Munger you should pick up. You should get it, Santi. It is great. I mean, Charlie Munger's 99. Guy is
really?
super. You know, he's Buffett's vice president in Berkshire Hathaway. Incredible words of wisdom. So these equate to everything: tennis, business, work. So hopefully this information helps you. Try to get these two books. They're very valuable. Santi, you have anything to add?
No. It's been raining a lot.
It's
Past
raining. You're
3
reading a lot.
weeks. Oh, the raining. It's been raining a lot.
Yeah, it has. It's rained.
past
You're
3
talking about the
weeks.
weather on the podcast.
Yeah. I just want
Everybody.
people across wherever they're listening to know that normally it's like a hot, dry summer.
Santi,
Now
it's
just
usually
like,
humid in the Northeast.
well,
though,
yeah, it's
Santi.
humid, but like it's not raining all the time. It's been raining every other day. It's like the Pacific
What a
Northwest.
change of that. We're talking about Charlie Munger, and you're like, it's raining every day, everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to be cold.
Because it affects people's moods, right? So it's like, you're less. That's why I sound like this.
You're too funny, Santi. You're the best.
Not as cheery, I guess, because I like the sunshine,
My time, when you come in here and you're going to be cheery, the only time you're going to be cheery, as I know when, is when you're like, I found a girlfriend. She's awesome. We're having a great time. I know you, Santi.
Yeah.
One day it'll happen. We'll have the
We'll
podcast.
see.
It'll just be Santi Success. We'll call it
Okay.
Santi Success.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Again, keep practicing the answers and the actions. Do not stop working. Answers will come from you making decisions. Keep making them. Thanks. Hey, everybody. Hope you like the podcast. Please share it with your friends, anybody that you know, anybody that's into tennis, anybody that's into bettering themselves. Share it.